It is time for entertainment news,
Yes,
guys, and it's not about OJ. It's let's get right into it. First story, Nollywood is not the cause of crime in the country. Actors Guild of Nigeria, National President of the Actors Guild of Nigeria, Emeka Rollas, has responded to the Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, who during a public lecture about insecurity stated that Nollywood's storyline is always centered on rituals, kidnapping, robbery, occultism, and cultists. The AGN president made this known in an interview with the news agency of Nigeria, where he stated that Nollywood movies and storylines is not to be blamed for the current wave of crime in the country. He stated, and I quote, "Such statement is not based on logical facts and will not in any way affect the industry. Nollywood is not the cause of the ills that have bedeviled the country. Some of the crises in the country have been there before the coming of Nollywood." Before Nollywood came into existence in the 1990s, the country had grappled with series of crime. Some of the country's ills predated Nollywood. Now, he further said that the minister should rather appreciate Nollywood for its contribution to the country by providing jobs for unemployed graduates.
Fair enough. I mean, Emeka Rollas has been in the news quite a lot lately for, of course, the whole Senator Abbott thing as well. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So there's been a lot of talking. While I don't agree with that other interview, I agree with him on this particular one, which we're talking about right now. I think that it might be unfair to say that Nollywood storylines are focused on those. If he said that happened in the past, then maybe, yeah, and then you have the, blood money, them kind of hear them. But when you look at now and the fact that our movies are becoming, our stories are becoming a bit more expansive, then I don't agree with that statement. And it makes me want to ask, okay, which movies have you seen lately? And also, when people, because I think about movies in the cinema, apart from Living in Bondage, I can't think of the last time I saw a film at the cinema which had some of the things he mentioned here. Also, I think that there was something else he said. Oh, you know what? Go for it. I'll remember.
Okay, so first things first, I would like to say that I understand both parties. I get where the Minister of Works is coming from when he says, most of their movies are based on this and that and this. And I'm not going to say this from the, we're outgoing, we go to the cinema perspective, because only 20%, I mean, even a little over 20%, can go to the cinema. Most of the movies that we see out there that everybody can relate to are actually Asaba movies, and they're actually based on these things that he mentioned. So if I'm going to come from that angle, I would say that most of the films are still centered.
What happened to the king ones? Those ones where the king doesn't want to marry? Exactly. Let's not say most. I don't want to
let's say some of the movies are still centered on that. That's coming from the old Asaba thing, But then if I talk about like new Nollywood, as they call it, or new cinema, would say, okay, we've done better in terms of our storylines and, the way that we try to portray the country in a good way. And that's why people would say, Nigerians are like the happiest people in the world. Like, we just always look for a way to make lighter note of every situation that we find ourselves in. Also, I'm not quite sure that he blamed Nollywood. He just said something. Doesn't mean that he's putting putting all the blame on Nollywood.
When you make that kind of statement,
I get what you're saying, but he didn't say, Nollywood is the cause of XYZ. He just said, Nollywood's this thing. And I'm also going to come from the abroad movie.
Haven't they complained about funding as well?
Wait.
So maybe if you,
wait, abroad movies, they are centered on, for the longest time, I didn't want to travel because I think that the way they used to bring out guns and just shoot,
that's how
it is in real life. So, for me, that's what I said, I understand where both parties are coming from, but I think we can do better.
Anyway,
that's it.
Moving swiftly along, I don't understand where that party is coming from because I also feel that we don't just sit and invent movies. It's because of stuff happening around us sometimes
that we can relate to. So are you saying that they shoot a lot and kill in
Nigeria, yes. Moving on, yes now, what are we talking about? Moving on, guys, to the next story. The Lord of the Rings series production put on hold. Joining the list of production companies shutting down due to the coronavirus pandemic, Amazon Studios has put on hold production for its Lord of the Rings prequel series. According to reports, Shooting had already started since last month in New Zealand, and right now, due to the country's mandatory law that its citizens isolate themselves, they had to halt shooting. The Lord of the Rings prequel series now joins a list of anticipated Hollywood series and movies which had stopped production due to the fast-spreading virus. Release dates for a lot of movies such as the James Bond, No Time to Die, Milan, A Quiet Place Part 2, Fast and Furious 9 have all been pushed back due to the pandemic. Exciting stuff.
I didn't even know they were working on Lord of the Rings prequel.
Yeah.
Like,
I knew about Quiet Place, I knew about Milan, and of course James Bond, but I didn't know about
Lord of the Rings that we've moved on from. You people are now taking us back to how it all started.
Didn't you people move on from living in bondage and we took you back there?
Anyways, well, this is what everybody's doing right now.
Yeah.
Production have been stopped for a lot of movies. Even premieres of movies have stopped. It's really sad.
Football games. I know you're depressed.
Like, we cannot watch football again. Like, I was just talking to somebody this afternoon that, so another weekend, no football.
Yeah.
Somebody
How are we
said,
going to survive?
somebody said, another day without football. But I see a pretty lady on my couch.
Yes,
She seems really nice.
That's
Oh, wow,
my
you're
babe.
just getting to know your girlfriend.
I'm really happy. I'm really happy that it's happening. I just want to say to us here in Nigeria, I know that we're trying to make efforts, and I feel like we should intensify those efforts because I know someone who was on a flight where the latest case of corona, the third
UK?
case, yes, I know someone who was on that flight and came in contact with people that I also know who he works with. So it's kind of like, are we still allowing flights coming from there? Other countries in Africa have banned flights. Ghana is not joking. Oh. Hey, Uganda, all these other parts. So I feel like we should intensify efforts. If flights don't need to come in, let them stay out. Everybody's taking measures around the world. Major productions, I mean,
Shutting
are
down.
shutting down. Why not? Champions League, all these things that are a big deal are shutting down. Why can't we do that as well? So let's just intensify efforts. I know we're trying, and kudos to us, but I want to see more efforts, please.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I mean, you said it all.
Yeah, moving on to the final story. Ariana Grande's obsessed fan caught at her home. Yes, American singer Ariana Grande must be in shock right now after an obsessed fan trespassed on a Los Angeles property and made it all the way to her front door. According to TMZ, the obsessed fan, who is said to be in his 20s, knocked on the door and asked for the singer, to which the property manager answered, telling the intruder that the singer wasn't at home. The alleged intruder was later arrested at the house after the cops were called in. It was said to have even spat on one of the officers on duty. A love letter written to Ariana and directions to her home were reportedly found on him after a thorough search was conducted on him. The unnamed obsessed fan was then booked for misdemeanor, trespassing, and felony battery. So this is a perfect case, and we've seen trends like this. But this one is shocking. You passed the old security. Like, you're not staying in one flat that's from the road you can enter your house. Yes, or face me. Like, you passed everything to the door, then you now knocked. Is Ariana in? Like, how?
You even make it past, like, this thing actually scares me.
It's very scary, Erika. I agree with you. I think we make light of the fact that, because this happens quite often abroad to these celebrities, at least we know of. And I think it's very, very scary because it's easy for us to sit here and think, oh, celeb joy, you're enjoying, but it's so freaky. Like, I was saying the other day about how you get home and like you open your house and you're able to just chill. It's a blessing. Like, what if you discover that someone is already in, or maybe, you know that thing at night when they're like
waiting on your bed for you.
You know, someone was talking to me about how, you know, because I'm very, very, you know how I'm crazy about the number of, I like to be in control of the people that have access to me. And someone was saying something about how, oh, could it be that you don't give people your number because you feel like they can hack into your phone and see everything you do? And I'm like, oh, there's a possibility of that. And I started to Google stuff. Yeah, I started to Google stuff. And I saw how it's very, very possible. Like, by getting your phone number, I can know everything you're doing, what you're watching, what you're saying. And now I'm changing all my phone numbers.
You are?
Yes, I am. It's scary.
I can't deal.
So situations like this, I tend to pity people like Davido, our own Nigerian artists, who virtually, you will know when Davido is in the country.
Because
you will know when he's going, because he puts everything online in front of his house. He even tried one time saying he's changing the house, but it's still that same house.
Okay, somehow we haven't heard of this happening to him,
because he's never really.
So I think the definition of our fan base is way different than that one there.
Okay, nobody got time.
This one's just wants baba anything for the boys, anything for the girls. Those ones, I love you. I want to lie on the same bed. I want to use the same toothbrush you are using.
I agree with that. Nigerian fans are not loyal. Like if they say hi to you and you don't respond properly, what bye? You ain't even.
I saw Faladele the other day. They don't care whether Faladele was even in, like under pressure or anything. Guys.
So Nigerian,
I fully agree. We're not loyal.
Yeah, Nigerian artists, please be careful so that it doesn't get to that level.
Yeah, scary.
Like it's crazy the so-called Davido situation. Like Wizkid's house is just near that same place, and these boys don't know. But Davido, anyways, I'm done, ladies and gentlemen.